The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was hungry. The tempter approached and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become loaves of bread." He said in reply, "It is written, 'One does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes forth from the mouth of God.'" Then the devil took him to the holy city and made him stand on the parapet of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, 'He will command his angels concerning you, and with their hands they will support you, lest you dash your foot against a stone.'" Jesus answered him, "Again it is written, 'You shall not put the Lord your God to the test.'" Then the devil took him up to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their magnificence. And he said to them, "All these I shall give you if you will prostrate yourself and worship me." At this, Jesus said to him, "Get away, Satan. It is written, 'The Lord your God shall you worship, and him alone shall you adore.'" Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
The readings about the temptations of Jesus, because they take place at the end of his 40-day and 40-night period alone in the desert, lead us to believe that there's something in here of a template for our own Lenten journey. Indeed, that's why the church has placed this reading at the beginning of our Lenten journey. I don't think it's exactly what Matthew had in mind, however, or at least what I've discovered in reflecting upon these readings is that they are less about what we should do or how we should live or suggestions on how to avoid temptations, but rather they are a mirror to ourselves. Because what the devil is putting in front of Jesus is what we so often put in front of him ourselves. And what indeed the disciples and those who were following Jesus would spend the next 3 years doing as well. Let's go through them. The first temptation, when Jesus emerges after 40 days and 40 nights of not eating. Me, it's been 12 hours and I'm starving. So yes, he was hungry. And Satan tempts him and says, "If you're the Son of Man," because he doesn't believe that that means anything. "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones turn into bread." A hungry person sees food everywhere. A hungry person can look at a bowl of fake fruit and think, well, so it's a temptation that we can understand. We get hunger. We get appetite. We get that. We have them all the time. And what if there were someone who had the power to do something about it and never be hungry? Who would never starve again? Who had it within their power to satisfy every ache, every urge, every longing? Wouldn't they want to take that? And that's what Satan puts in front of the Lord. And that's what we so often do. We say, I'm hungry. Turn this situation into satisfaction for me. Fill my coffers. Fill my plate. Fill me. We say to God all the time. And the disciples would not tire of bringing to Jesus those who were hungry, and Jesus would look out on them and twice, miraculously, feed them, not by converting stones, but pulling out of thin air or converting the little scraps that he was able to collect from the crowd. The second temptation, to throw himself down from the parapet of the temple and to see if God would act. To see if God would perform some miracle. To see if God would get him out of the scrape. How often do we do that? We've gotten ourselves into a mess. We didn't study all semester, and now we've got a midterm. So God, please give me the answers. God, please let the professor get sick this week. Somehow snatch me out of that free fall in the last minute. And the disciples would do that. They'd rip holes in the ceiling open so they could lower down people to be saved and rescued. They would bring their blind and their lame. Jesus would even, in the snap, unthought out messes that the disciples would make, he'd attach an ear again on a soldier found at the side of Jesus in the garden. The third temptation, to get all the nations of the world. This is what Satan offers to the Lord. He who had come from paradise. He who made all the world. Reminds me of my nephew. One of my nephews had this little bear. Went with him everywhere, but frequently, because he needed his hands free, he'd just take the little snout of the bear and pop it in his mouth, bite down, and then use his two hands to do what he was doing. That snout of that bear was the most disgusting thing you have ever seen. And my nephew one time, when he wanted a cookie, and I said, no, I think your mama wouldn't like it if I gave you a cookie. And he said, I'll let you hold my bear. I was like, kid, you gotta learn to, you don't know anything about temptation. That's always what this reminds me of, is the devil offering the Lord this world of ours, he who was Lord of paradise, of the universe. He's offering him this paltry little chewed up piece of property, this earth. We do it all the time, don't we? Lord, if you will grant me this miracle, if you will do this or that for me, I'll let you hold my bear. I'll pray 10 rosaries. I'll give up, something that's going to benefit me anyway, And God's supposed to go, oh, thanks, I was waiting for someone to do that for me. baby loves my homily so far. Brothers and sisters, all these things that we tempt the Lord, he was going to do for us anyway. All these things that the devil said to do for himself, feed yourself, save yourself, gain all the power to yourself, Jesus did for us. All those things that we're so frequently tempted for are supposed to be opportunities to do for others. Because Jesus took all these temptations to selfishness and then spent the next 3 years proving his selflessness. And that's what we have to do as well. We have to let our Lenten journey be a journey of love. We have nothing but that to offer our God, our love. Let that ultimately be our Lenten sacrifice.